Jean-Bédel Bokassa, also known as Bokassa I, was a military leader who became the president and later self-proclaimed emperor of the Central African Republic from 1966 to 1979. His reign was characterized by authoritarianism, corruption, and human rights abuses that had a profound impact on the people of the Central African Republic. From an African perspective, Bokassa's legacy represents a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of accountability and transparency in governance. Bokassa came to power in a military coup in 1966, overthrowing the country's first president, David Dacko. Initially, Bokassa enjoyed the support of the people, who saw him as a strong leader who could bring stability and progress to the country. However, Bokassa soon revealed himself to be a ruthless dictator who was more interested in consolidating his power than in improving the lives of his people. One of Bokassa's most infamous acts was his decision to crown himself Emperor of the Central African Republic in a lavish coronation ceremony in 1977. The event cost an estimated $20 million, a staggering sum in a country where most people lived in poverty. Bokassa's self-indulgence and extravagance outraged many Africans, who saw it as a blatant display of arrogance and disregard for the plight of ordinary people. Bokassa's rule was also marked by egregious human rights abuses, including arbitrary arrests, torture, and extrajudicial killings. Many Africans were shocked by the brutality of his regime and the extent to which it violated the basic principles of justice and human dignity. Despite his repressive tactics, Bokassa's hold on power began to weaken in the late 1970s. His extravagant lifestyle and the economic mismanagement of his regime had drained the country's coffers, and he became increasingly isolated from the international community. In 1979, a popular uprising led by French forces toppled Bokassa from power and restored Dacko to the presidency. Today, Bokassa's legacy remains a cautionary tale for Africans and the world at large. His reign illustrates the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of transparency and accountability in governance. It also highlights the need for Africans to be vigilant in defending their human rights and demanding good governance from their leaders. Jean-Bédel Bokassa was born on February 22, 1921, in Babangui, a village in what was then the French Equatorial Africa, now the Central African Republic. He was the son of a village chief and was educated in Catholic schools. Bokassa joined the French colonial army in 1939 and served in World War II, earning several medals for bravery. After the war, he rose through the ranks to become a captain and was stationed in several African countries. In 1964, he was appointed commander of the army in the Central African Republic. Bokassa seized power in a bloodless coup in 1966, overthrowing President David Dacko. He immediately began consolidating his power and suppressing dissent. He declared himself president for life in 1972 and dissolved the country's parliament. Bokassa's rule came to an end in 1979 when French troops intervened to oust him from power and restore Dacko to the presidency. Bokassa went into exile in France and was eventually arrested and brought back to the Central African Republic to stand trial for a variety of charges, including murder and cannibalism. He was convicted and sentenced to death, but his sentence was later commuted to life imprisonment. He was released in 1993 and died in 1996 at the age of 75. Despite his brutal rule, Bokassa remains a controversial figure in the Central African Republic. Some people view him as a hero who brought stability to the country, while others see him as a tyrant who inflicted untold suffering on his people. His reign serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of accountability and transparency in governance. Interesting aspect of Bokassa's rule was his use of symbolism and propaganda to legitimize his regime. He adopted a number of grandiose titles, including President for Life and Emperor, and he commissioned a number of public works projects and monuments to glorify himself and his rule. One of the most striking examples of Bokassa's propaganda was the Bokassa diamond, a 70-carat diamond that he had claimed to have discovered and named after himself. The diamond was displayed in a museum in Bangui, the capital of the Central African Republic, and was widely touted as a symbol of Bokassa's greatness. However, the diamond was later revealed to be a fake, and it was quietly removed from the museum. Bokassa was also known for his fondness for animals. He had a private zoo with a collection of exotic animals, including lions, tigers, and leopards, and he was reportedly obsessed with the idea of creating a new breed of cattle that would produce both milk and meat in large quantities. His fascination with animals was often reflected in his public appearances, where he would be accompanied by exotic pets. Despite his many faults, Bokassa is still remembered by some as a charismatic and influential leader who left his mark on the Central African Republic. His legacy, however, remains a controversial and contested one, and his reign is often seen as a cautionary tale about the dangers of authoritarianism and unchecked power. A few more interesting facts about Bokassa. Bokassa had a fascination with military uniforms and would frequently change his outfits throughout the day. He reportedly had over 500 custom-made military uniforms, each with its own insignia and medals. Bokassa was known for his love of fine dining and would often order extravagant meals, complete with multiple courses and expensive wines. He once reportedly spent over $800,000 on a single meal, which included roast peacock, caviar, and champagne. Bokassa's reign was marked by a number of bizarre and cruel rituals, including the infamous Festival of Youth and Sports, where hundreds of young people were forced to perform elaborate dance routines for the emperor's entertainment. Some of the dancers were reportedly whipped or beaten if they made mistakes. One thing about Bokassa that many people may not know is that he was obsessed with astrology and numerology. He reportedly consulted with astrologers and numerologists before making important decisions, and he even changed the name of the country from the Central African Republic to the Central African Empire based on the advice of a numerologist who told him that the new name would bring him good luck. Bokassa was also known to carry a golden talisman that was inscribed with magical symbols, which he believed would protect him from harm. Bokassa was a devout Catholic and maintained close ties with the Vatican throughout his rule. He even made a personal pilgrimage to Rome to meet with Pope Paul VI, who granted him a private audience. Bokassa had a tumultuous personal life and was married several times. He reportedly had over 50 children, many of whom were given high-ranking government positions or other privileges. In conclusion, Bokassa's rule in the Central African Republic represents a dark chapter in African history. However, it also serves as a reminder of the resilience and strength of the African people in the face of adversity. Today, as African nations continue to grapple with the challenges of poverty, corruption, and political instability, it is important to remember the lessons of Bokassa's reign and to work towards building societies that are grounded in the principles of justice, dignity, and equality for all.